In the mid-17th century, England made a big change by moving away from having a king and trying out a new way of ruling. This bold step wasn't just about politics. It came from a strong fight over whether kings had the right to rule by God's will, control taxes, and have unlimited power. In the end, it led to the shocking execution of King Charles I. But here's the twist. After over a decade without a monarchy, why did England decide to bring back the crown and restore Charles I's son, Charles II, to the throne? It all started with Charles I's belief that he was God's chosen ruler. He saw himself as having absolute authority, expecting his subjects and Parliament to obey him without question, but Parliament had other ideas. Charles believed he had the right to impose taxes without Parliament's approval. Parliament strongly disagreed. And then came religion. Charles leaned toward Catholicism, which didn't sit well with the largely Protestant Parliament. When Ireland rebelled, rumors spread that Charles was working with the Catholic rebels to crush Parliament. That was the final straw. In a desperate move, Charles tried to have several members of Parliament arrested. He failed and fled London. That sparked the English Civil War. Parliament's forces, led by Oliver Cromwell, eventually defeated Charles. Captured and charged with treason, Charles was put on trial. In 1649, he was beheaded. With the king gone, England became a republic, the Commonwealth, under Cromwell's leadership. But instead of peace, England found itself under a military dictatorship. The Cromwell era, Oliver Cromwell ruled as Lord Protector. He was a strong leader who held the country together, but not everyone was happy. Cromwell and his Puritan allies enforced strict moral codes. Drinking, theater, and even Christmas celebrations were banned. Life became pretty miserable for many. When Cromwell died in 1658, his son Richard took over, but Richard lacked his father's authority and respect. Chaos loomed as Parliament fractured and tensions rose. With Richard Cromwell unable to hold things together, many feared another civil war. England craved stability, and many saw the monarchy as the answer. But Charles II was smart. He promised forgiveness for those who had fought against his father. He assured Parliament that he would govern as a king bound by their authority. That was the deal England was willing to take. And so, in 1660, Charles II returned from exile in the Netherlands. England welcomed back the monarchy, choosing to overlook the Civil War and the execution of Charles I as if it had never happened. Charles II's reign was a period of relative peace, at least for a while, but the tension between the monarchy and Parliament never fully disappeared. In fact, those old problems would resurface just a few decades later. The Restoration wasn't just about restoring a king, it was about England finding a balance between monarchy and parliamentary authority, and that delicate balance shaped the future of the British political system for centuries to come.